So I don't care where a guitar is made. I don't care if it's made in China or Indonesia or Vietnam, as long as the guitar is good. Fesley just sent me this really cool guitar. This guitar is $149 on Amazon. I'm really excited to take a look at it, unbox it, and review it. So let's just open this up. Let's get right to it. So it comes shipped in this box right here. There's no outer box. This is in a gig bag. This is fantastic. So it's got your standard, backpack style straps. It's this really interesting thick material. I feel an immense amount of padding. I don't even feel the guitar. Same here. It's pretty thick. Look at this Fesley branded strap. That's a nice little touch. So we have this nice thick piece of leather-like material. Your typical seatbelt style strap. And then we have the instruction manual. Interesting little manual. It's kind of thoughtful. And then you don't really see this often. You don't see manufacturers saying, hey, your string action is going to be pretty high in most guitars you grab off the shelf or purchase online. This is how you adjust the string action. This is how you adjust string intonation. This is how you adjust the truss rod. I mean, that's pretty incredible considering most guitars never mention anything even like this. Trem arm and all the wrenches are going to be required. Black trem bar. I'm not going to use it, but I think it's kind of nice. And then obviously you get the adjustment wrenches for the saddle height and the truss rod. So I assume that the trem is black as well. I had no idea I was getting a sunburst. This is cool. So already we have the paper over the strings. So we got a little styrofoam on the switch, protect that. 3 knobs. Silica gel. The issue with most overseas guitars is that the wood is not air dried or kiln dried. And when it finally gets to you, the wood will shrink and obviously the frets don't, and you get fret strap. So this is something you have to worry about maybe down the road, but right now out of the box, this is a really smooth fret job. Really cool 3-tone sunburst. Why is it that guitar reviewers never tell you how the guitar smells? I once took a Gibson Les Paul out of the case, brand new Gibson, and it smelled like candy. Maybe it was a nitro, I don't know. But this one smells like it came right off the assembly line. So there are some VOCs coming off of it. This basically is kind of a copy of a Dinky, like a Charvel Dinky. And it looks like, from what I can tell, a 2-piece. And it could be either basswood or ash. But the second piece is definitely here, so you can see the seam there. So 1, 2. I don't think there's 3 pieces. I think this is just a 2-piece. Nice and lightweight too. This is a very lightweight guitar. So I don't think I'll ever use the trem, but let's go ahead and screw it in. There's no play in it, so it's nice and stiff. Again, I'm probably unlikely to use the trem on this guitar. The paint job is great. So it's a 3-tone sunburst, a satin finish. These factories overseas, they really do give you quality paint job. So there are certainly quality control checks, but I'm not really sure if they've been done or not, but it's kind of cool that they even have something like this. It's nice. I thought this was kind of cool, considering that these guitars are made and marketed toward probably beginners. To have something like this come with the guitar, I mean, you have a tag, just got your branding on it, and your slogans. You might as well put something useful on there. I thought this was really cool. Very nice black hardware. 3-knob setup. I assume 1 volume master in 2 tones. Lightweight switch. HSS configuration. It's a 2-piece body. I would assume it's basswood, but who knows? Could be poplar. Maple neck. 22 frets. fret ends are not sharp at all. And considering it's been a common complaint from guitar reviewers, it makes sense that these factories would start to address these issues. Which is kind of nice. I'm not sure what kind of nut this is. It's kind of an off-white, almost kind of a greenish tint to it, so it could be plastic. I'll check the specs, but let's just assume it's plastic. And then we have black tuners, black string tree. I like the headstock shape a lot. It's unique, but it's also reminiscent of other manufacturers. Side dots are placed at the seam. All of these are on that line, that seam. I like the Fesley branded neck plate. It has a nice touch to it. This is the same style transition you see on most overseas necks, where you have a lot of flat space after the heel and then a very pointy transition. There's the wood grain transition for the headstock. Quality control sticker. To look under these control cavities. I need to take the plastic off anyway, so let's just take a quick peek and see what's in here. Okay. So there looks to be some shielding on the underside of the cover. It's not very shiny, but it's shielding nonetheless. There's no shielding in the cavity, but you can see everything is pretty much what you'd expect. We have the tiny little pots. We have the really big green capacitor and the same 5-way switch. I can smell that smell again, which is like the thinner you'd use to thin lacquer. That's kind of what it smells like. But okay, we expected all this. Not bad. Let's go ahead and put this back in. While we're at it, let's just take a look at this trem block cavity. And this is what you'd expect in these here. Pretty standard. So the trem block is standard size. 3 springs, you have your ground wire. Nothing to see here, although the paint job looks really nice and the cavities are routed nicely. All right, let's listen to this. I can't wait to hear it. So it's pretty clear what Fesley is trying to do with these guitars. These are meant to be super strats. There are a ton of Tele type and Strat type overseas guitars on the market. What Fesley's doing is something actually pretty unique. they are offering a Super Strat. Now, a Super Strat is offering a number of things that you don't really find on a Strat, including obviously the humbucker. 2, the thinner, kind of more svelte body shape. So this is a Dinky shape. You typically find this type of body on Jacksons and on Charvels. So that's what they're really trying to go for here. So the other thing that's really cool about this is you get this kind of satin paint job. Pickups themselves are very, very hot. Now I didn't measure them with my multimeter, but what I'm able to do is actually plug this into my amp modeler, and based off my patches that I've used with my normal Strats, you can totally tell that these are really overwound and super hot pickups. They were basically overdriving all my preamps. So you are getting basically a hot set of pickups on this kind of Super Strat style body. I was impressed with the fret job, so I did not have to do a fret level. This is only the second time I didn't have to do that. The first time was with the Firefly, which I released last week. That's a fantastic guitar, no fret level necessary. And this is the second one. This Fesley did not require a fret level. The only thing I did was I cranked the truss rod to flatten the neck, and then I lowered the saddles. Those were the only 2 things I did. And now I have extremely low action. That's another feature that you're looking for when you're looking for a Super Strat style guitar. You want super low action. And so this is basically ticking all the boxes. It does what it's supposed to do. And it's $149. So I do think it's a bargain. I do think it's great for beginner guitars because it does not need that fret level. You can get the action really low on it, and it's super hot, which is what the kids are really looking for these days, right? I don't mind the paint job. I would have preferred solid color. I wish they'd sent me a pink one or a blue one. The only thing with sunbursts, you have to keep in mind, even on Fender guitars, this is a 2-piece body, so you see the seam running right through here. You see it especially in the back. So if you have a 2 or 3-piece body on a transparent paint job, you're gonna see the seams. That's the only reason why I suggest probably getting a solid color versus a translucent one. But super grateful that Fesley sent me this guitar, and I think it's a great machine. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.